In this important video, I'll show you 10 types of people you should avoid helping at all costs. The last one will surprise you. But first things first, pay attention to this story I'm about to tell you, for it is important to understand the whole point of the video. Once upon a time, there was a kind and generous man named John, who always put the needs of others before his own. One day, as he was walking through a crowded street, he saw a person in need and quickly rushed to their aid. But little did he know, this person was one of the 10 types of people that you should avoid helping at all costs. Later that day, John saw the same person drinking alcohol with the money he had given him. As John moved closer to the liquor store, he could hear the person talking about how John was a sucker for falling for that obvious lie. In the same manner as John, we are faced with bad people who take advantage of others. Luckily, I'm bringing you 10 types of people whom you should avoid helping at all costs. Type number 1, the manipulator. Manipulators are a dangerous breed of people who use cunning and deception to exploit the emotions and weaknesses of others for their own gain. They can be found in all walks of life, from the workplace to personal relationships, and their tactics are often subtle and hard to detect. Here are some signs that someone may be a manipulator. They use flattery and charm to gain your trust. They play on your emotions and use guilt to control you. They are masters of deception and will say anything to get what they want. They are masterful liars and will twist the truth to suit their own agenda. They will often try to isolate you from friends and family to gain more control over you. They will try to make you dependent on them emotionally, financially, or otherwise. Manipulators are dangerous because they can destroy your self-esteem, damage your relationships, and even lead you down a path of self-destruction. So why should you avoid helping manipulators? They will never be satisfied with what you do for them and will always want more. They will use your kindness against you and will take advantage of your good nature. They will never be grateful for your help and will only see it as a weakness to be exploited. Type number 2, the perpetual victim. The perpetual victim is another type of person you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are masters at playing the victim card and will always make you feel sorry for them. They will constantly complain about their problems and will never take responsibility for their own actions. They will always blame others for their misfortunes and will never do anything to help themselves. The perpetual victim is dangerous because they will drain your energy, your time, and your resources. They will always be in need of your help, but they will never do anything to improve their own situation. They will also use their victim status to manipulate you and make you feel guilty for not helping them more. They will make you feel responsible for their problems and will never be satisfied with your help. So how can you avoid being taken advantage of by a perpetual victim? Don't be too quick to offer help or sympathy. Be wary of people who always seem to have bad luck or problems. Don't let them guilt trip you into helping them. Set boundaries and stick to them. Remember that it's not your responsibility to fix their problems. If you encounter a perpetual victim, it's important to remember that you have the power to say no and to walk away. It may be hard to do, but it's essential for your own well-being and sanity. Type number 3, the ingrate. The ingrate is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are unappreciative and ungrateful and will never show any gratitude for your help or kindness. They will always take your help for granted and will never say thank you. They will also find ways to make you feel guilty or responsible for their problems, even if you've gone above and beyond to help them. The ingrate is dangerous because they will never appreciate your efforts and will only take advantage of your kindness. They will make you feel unappreciated and used and will never show any gratitude for your help. They will also try to fool you into helping them more, even if you've already done more than your fair share. To avoid being taken advantage of by an ingrate, remember that you are not obligated to help them. You can offer your help, but you don't have to give it if they don't appreciate it. It's also important to set boundaries with the ingrate and to stand up for yourself when they try to guilt-trip you. Remember that you deserve to be appreciated and respected for your kindness and generosity. And if the ingrate can't offer you that, then you may need to walk away from the situation. Type number 4, the parasite. The parasite is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are takers, not givers, and will drain you of your time, energy, and resources. They will lock onto you and use you for everything you have to offer. They will take advantage of your good heart and will never do anything to repay you. The parasite is dangerous because they will never let you go. They will keep coming back for more and will never give anything in return. They will also try to take a little bit more from you, even if you've already done more than your fair share. To avoid being taken advantage of by a parasite, remember that you are not obligated to have them around. You can offer your help, but you don't have to give it if they don't deserve it. It's also important to set boundaries with the parasite and to stand up for yourself when they try to leech you off. Remember that you deserve to be treated seriously and that you don't have to put up with someone who only takes and never gives. The parasite is a toxic and destructive force in your life, and it's important to cut ties with them as soon as you can. Type number 5, the narcissist. The narcissist is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are self-absorbed and self-centered, and they will only care about themselves and their own needs. They will use you as a tool to fulfill their own desires and will never show any genuine care or concern for you. They will only use you for their own gain and will discard you once you've served your purpose. The narcissist is dangerous because they will never see you as a person with your own needs and desires. They will only see you as an object to be used and manipulated and will never respect you as a human being. They will also try to control and manipulate you by using guilt, fear, and even violence to get their way. To avoid being taken advantage of by a narcissist, remember that you are not obligated to listen to them. You don't have to stay in a relationship with someone who doesn't respect or value you. It's important to recognize the signs of a narcissist and to get out of the situation as soon as you can. Some signs of a narcissist include a sense of entitlement and an inflated sense of importance, a lack of empathy for others, a need for constant admiration and attention, a lack of respect for boundaries, and a disregard for the feelings of others. The narcissist is a very dangerous and toxic person, and it's important to stay away from them at all costs. If you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist, it's important to leave as soon as you can. Type number 6, the chronic liar. The chronic liar is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are pathological liars who will say anything and everything to get what they want. They will lie about their past, their present, and their future, and will never tell the truth no matter how hard you try to get it out of them. The chronic liar is dangerous because they will say anything to get you to believe them. They will use lies to manipulate and control you and will never hesitate to tell a lie if it suits their purposes. They will also use lies to avoid taking responsibility for their actions and to cover up their mistakes. To avoid being taken advantage of by a chronic liar, remember that you should never trust someone who has a history of lying. It's important to be skeptical of the things that a chronic liar says and to verify their claims before you believe them. If you find yourself in a relationship with a chronic liar, it's important to get out as soon as you can. The chronic liar is a dangerous and toxic person who will only bring you pain and heartache. Type number 7, the energy vampire. The energy vampire is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are emotionally draining and will suck the life out of you if you let them. They will feed off your positive energy and will leave you feeling exhausted and depleted. They will also use your kindness and generosity to their advantage and will never show any gratitude or appreciation for what you do for them. The energy vampire is dangerous because they will leave you feeling drained and exhausted. They will use up all your emotional resources and will leave you feeling empty and drained. They will also try to manipulate you by playing on your emotions and making you feel guilty for not helping them more. To avoid being taken advantage of by an energy vampire, remember that you are not responsible for their emotional well-being. It's important to set boundaries with the energy vampire and to make sure that they don't drain you of your energy. It's also important to recognize when someone is trying to control you and to stand up for yourself. Remember that you deserve to be happy and healthy, and that you don't have to put up with someone who only brings you down. The energy vampire is a toxic and destructive force in your life, and it's important to cut ties with them as soon as you can. Type number 8, the complainer. The complainer is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are never satisfied with anything and will always find something to complain about. They will constantly nitpick and criticize everything and will never be happy with what you do for them. They will also use their complaints as a way to manipulate you and make you feel guilty for not helping them more. The complainer is dangerous because they will never be satisfied with anything you do for them. They will always find something to complain about and will never appreciate your efforts. They will also try to make you feel guilty for not being able to fix their problems and will never take ownership for their own actions. To avoid being taken advantage of by a complainer, remember that you are not responsible for their happiness. It's important to set boundaries with the complainer and to make sure that they don't drag you down with their negativity. It's also important to recognize when someone is trying to downplay you and to stand up for yourself. Remember that you deserve to be happy and positive and that you don't have to put up with someone who only brings you down. The complainer is a toxic and destructive force in your life, and it's important to cut ties with them as soon as possible. Type number 9, the irresponsible. The irresponsible is another type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are reckless and irrational and will never take responsibility for their own actions. They will blame everyone else for their problems and will never admit when they've made a mistake. They will also try to use their irresponsibility as a way to manipulate you and make you feel guilty for not helping them more. The irresponsible is dangerous because they will never be accountable for their own actions. They will always try to shift the blame onto others and will never accept responsibility for their mistakes. They will also try to manipulate you by making you feel guilty for not doing enough to help them. To avoid being taken advantage of by an irresponsible, remember that you are not responsible for their mistakes. It's important to set boundaries with the irresponsible and to make sure that they don't take advantage of your kindness. It's also important to recognize when someone is trying to control you and to defend yourself. Remember that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and that you don't have to put up with someone who only brings you down. The irresponsible is a toxic and destructive force in your life, and it's important to cut ties with them as soon as you can. And last but not least, Type number 10, the gossiper. The gossiper is our final type of person that you should avoid helping at all costs. These people are gossip mongers who love to spread rumors and spread negativity about others. They will use gossip as a way to manipulate and control others and will never hesitate to spread lies and rumors about people behind their backs. The gossiper is dangerous because they will spread rumors and lies about you even if you've been kind and helpful to them. They will use gossip to gain power and influence over others and will never hesitate to use it against you if it suits their purposes. To avoid being taken advantage of by a gossiper, remember that you should never trust someone who spreads rumors and lies. It's important to be wary of the things that a gossiper says and to verify their claims before you believe them. It's also important to set boundaries with the gossiper and to make sure that they don't spread negativity about you behind your back. Remember that you deserve to be treated with respect and kindness, and that you don't have to put up with someone who only spreads negativity. The gossiper is a toxic and destructive force in your life, and it's important to cut ties with them as soon as you can. In conclusion, it's important to be wary of these 10 types of people who may try to take advantage of your kindness and generosity. While it's natural to want to help others, it's important to remember that not everyone deserves your kindness. But remember, while it's important to protect yourself from these types of people, it's also important to remember that God sees all things and knows the truth. In the end, those who use and manipulate others will be judged accordingly. And those who are truly kind and generous will be rewarded for their good deeds. Those who have a tendency to take advantage of others are shooting themselves in the foot because they are going against the laws of karma and therefore breaking their alliance with God. That's why you never see any of the 10 types of people you should avoid helping living a prosperous and fulfilling life. They're always in an endless loop of negativity and dishonesty, which leads them to wander around like leeches looking for their next meal. It's important to remember that you are the master of your path, and these negative individuals don't have any power to control you. They already lost the moment they tried to use you because they're breaking the universal laws of perpetual equilibrium. The same way God sees and knows everything, He also punishes those who don't live according to the divine laws. So when someone hurts you, they're actually hurting themselves, just like a mirror that reflects light into a dark room.